Welcome to DFS Insights. I'm David Geislinger, and I'm joined by my cousin, David Grant Jr. The teams up on the block are the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills.
This is where each of us will be giving you our three key players to focus on while you're creating all your lineups. Sometimes we might have the same favorite plays and sometimes we won't. David and I are going to give you a quick breakdown of what we like about the three main plays, and make sure to stay tuned until the very end of the podcast where we're going to give out two completely free lineups.
Nice. Yeah, this is going to be another interesting game. We just did a video about the Miami Kansas City game, and that one's going to be frigid and cold, but looks to kind of be clear. But this one's shaping up to be a cold, snowy, windy game. So let's head over to this game breakdown and start seeing what we got here.
Yeah, let's take a little peek.
Yeah, from what I read, it is going to be cold, looking about 21 degrees there, so not as bad as what we've seen or heard about the Kansas City, but it is going to be snowing. I guess there's a thing, not to get too technical. I had to look it up, called the lake effect. I guess it's very popular up there with the Great Lakes, but basically, to summarize, and I'm probably going to get some bad comments because this is going to be a horrible take on trying to analyze this, but basically cold air goes over warm water, basically creates big snow clouds, and then the snow just dumps once it hits land. So I can see this being a very snowy game. Right now the wind speed's supposed to be 20 to 30 mile per hour winds with gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So, I don't know about you, but to me, I'm going all kickers. And so it's going to be an interesting game. I think if I had to obviously look at the stats, these run percentages 43.5 for Steelers, 40, a little over 40% is going to be looking like more 50 to 60% probably, both teams. I don't see long balls being thrown in here too much because, like I said, that wind speed's crazy, and I see a whole bunch of maybe 2-point conversions. Maybe a lot more fourth down, 4th and 2 tries instead of field goals. So that's kind of how I see it. This game is going to be I think it's going to be a blowout. Buffalo's ahead, favored 10 points. Pittsburgh Steelers just lost T.J. Watts to an injury, so he's not playing. I don't know if they're going to allow J.J. Watts to step in. I don't know if anybody will notice. But I know I saw a bunch of memes showing like him in the Steelers jersey.
Yes.
But yeah, so I mean, how do you see it? I see Buffalo. I mean, might be recency bias, but I don't have any faith in Mason Rudolph. He has had the hot hand, so they are going with him over on the Steelers. But with the exception of their run game, they don't have anything, and they lost one of their best pass rushers. So
yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. I think Buffalo's just been on fire lately. Josh Allen. The playoffs are going to come a lot of times come down to what team has the better quarterback, what team has the better defense, and Buffalo has both of those by a mile, if not more. So, Josh Allen has had a rushing touchdown in almost every single game, and he has multiple 2 rushing touchdown games. The interesting thing is the turnovers, and with the snow and this insane weather, I mean, he's averaging like 3 turnovers a game the past couple games, which is pretty wild. But but either way, like you mentioned, with the Steelers losing one of the best defenders possible, um, I see Buffalo winning this. If the Buffalo shows up that we've been seeing these last four or
Yeah.
five games, then they should handle this easily. Josh Allen's been there, done that. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. I
yeah,
just don't see it being a contest, and I'm clearly Vegas doesn't either. Um, over unders 36.5 points, and I think that's due. You're talking probably getting a few inches of snow during this game.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be pretty intense. But with that, I'm interested to see who your three picks are. Who you gonna be focused on here for this matchup?
yeah, for this matchup, big shocker. I'll be having Josh Allen and MVP in in a lot of my lineups. Um, Actually, to be honest, prob in almost all of them. I'm not going to go too heavy on this game. Excuse me, personally, because of the weather. Um, uh, that really makes things a little more unpredictable when you have to try to factor that in. Um, but I like Josh Allen at MVP. He's just been cooking. He's averaging 24 fantasy points on the entire season. I'm sure that's one of the highest in the league.
Yeah,
So
probably.
I got him. Yeah, I got him at MVP. He if it he can throw it in. He's probably the leading rushing touchdowns for them. Um, and my second pick is going to bring me over to the Buffalo Bills defense. I don't see. I just don't see enough offensive weapons for Pittsburgh for them to do anything, and neither one of their quarterbacks are. You and me should go try out and see what we could do because I'm not impressed by either one of them. So the Bills defense I could see doing really well. They're probably going to be pretty chalk. I just gave out two chalky picks.
Yeah.
Um, putting the Bills defense up in the MVP, I could see there being some more turnovers than usual because of the weather. So that will be definitely interesting. And then my third pick is going to be Najee Harris from Pittsburgh. He's their only chance at scoring, at doing anything. It'll be handing the ball off to him. He's been crushing it lately. Um, you know, has a 27 attempts and 26 attempts, 112 yards, 122 yards, and 3 touchdowns over the last 2 games.
Yeah.
He's kind of been intermittent with the targets. I see he went 5 for 5 for 21 yards, but then the 3 games before that, no targets or anything. I do believe they had someone who got hurt. Yeah, their RB2, like Ty Johnson. I think he was. I mean, they've really just started to lean on Najee Harris, and that's just their only hope. Let's just
Yeah.
go there. So those are my three main plays that I'll be mixing and matching at MVP and having throughout most of my lineups.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those? And then what three
Well,
picks you got?
yeah,
You got going on?
I'll kind of branch on that Najee Harris, but their secondary is who I mean their running back too, Warren. I think Ty Johnson is Buffalo's who was hurt or
Oh yeah, yeah. My bad.
questionable.
Really
But
big concussion.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be talking more and probably leaning more on Najee Harris because me personally, I think I like Warren's style of running a lot more. And he is he is a great runner. It's just Najee Harris is also a great runner. So I mean, this might even be a time to actually select both of them. Najee does get the bulk of the carries, but Warren does also have potential upside too, and he's obviously 1,500. But no, Najee Harris, yeah, like you said, I think Mason Rudolph is not the best QB. I mean, he does have the hot hand for the Steelers right now, but that's not really saying too much. So, yeah, if they're going to score points, it's going to probably have to, especially in this weather, come from their running backs, and Najee Harris being obviously the number one. He should be getting first crack at it. I'm going to jump over for my second pick to another running back, since it just seems like all my picks, even going back to our other video, Miami, Kansas City, is just all running backs, but that's clearly the weather. But I'm hoping people game log troll this guy. He hasn't had those great games in a few weeks now. So, 3 weeks he's kind of been below 10 fantasy points, but he does have huge upside. He did have that one monster game, 2 touchdowns, 180 yards, 35 fantasy points. So I'm expecting something like that from him this week, due to the sole fact that they're going to be running the ball a lot. I know Josh Allen is the RB1 in this situation. So I'm hoping between Allen and, Cook, and obviously I'm being a little, facetious there, but James Cook hopefully should be up there. I'll be having him quite a bit in my MVP spot with Allen. Third pick is going to be going over to Kincaid. And I'm saying that because I don't expect there to be a lot of passing, and the passing I do expect are going to be these dump off passes to either the running back or the tight end or slot receiver. Unfortunately, that kind of leaves Diggs and Gabe Davis and those ones kind of out to dry. But I just don't see you catching a ball in 20-degree weather with the wind at 50 miles per hour gusts having any type. Like, I can see this being at like a target of 10 catches of 3, right? because of that. So Kincaid is their number one. My only concern about that is Knox made his appearance known that he's still viable with that touchdown. He is getting less snaps, but he did snake one of the touchdowns week 18 last week. So look into that, but Kincaid is still looking like their number one, and he's clearly in, averaging 80 plus yards, 7 plus targets the last 2 games. So with that, I think, with those people you guys if you guys, feel like we missed somebody and you want to talk about it, please, throw that in the comments. But with that, let's head over to, who do you think is going to be that MVP, and who do you have winning this game and by an overall score?
Yeah, I got, no surprise here. I got Josh Allen MVP. I got him scoring the most fantasy points. He's going to be running it in. I mean, he is going to do it all. He's taking them to the next round. I hope Diggs is like 40% owned like he is, because everybody keeps waiting for him to have that breakout game to get out of this little slump or whatever it's in, and it's not going to be this game. It's not with up to 50 mile an hour gusts of wind and that type of stuff, and snowing, and this environment just isn't going to call for it. So I hope people go there, because I'm not. And my lower owned pick is going to be, I'm gonna go Bills defense, but specifically at the MVP spot. So I mean, I know that it's at 9,500. Putting them up at the MVP is what's going to separate it, because in the flex they're going to I'm sure they'll be 30%, 20, somewhere between 28-35% owned in this single game, because of what's going on. So by putting them up in the MVP, I could see that being lower owned there, and then making up some differences in some other places. Yeah. So, and then as far as the score, I got the Bills taking this one. That I'd say, well, I don't really see a field goal happening in this game, so let's go. Man, to be honest, like, I'm gonna go 21. I'm being real generous with 14 points to the Steelers. Probably 21-7 Buffalo. I'm going to go ahead and say them by 2 touchdowns. Again, with them, with Pittsburgh losing, Mr. Watt, it's going to be tough for them to stop Buffalo, and they've just been on fire lately. So, that's what I got. Who's your MVP? Who's your low owned? And what's your score for the game?
Yeah, MVP. I think I think it's going to be Josh Allen if I had to put it, but I'm hoping James Cook just because of ownership reasons. But yeah, I think Josh Allen's going to have it. I mean, he's basically a running back too, so he's going to be doing it. And yeah, I kind of cheap way out, but yeah, Josh Allen for sure. My low own one, I think maybe if I had to pick, maybe Leonard Fournette. I think he's gonna be the backup. I don't see Ty Johnson. He was limited here in practice, but Fournette. If they re-sign Fournette for this game, I think he'll be it. If they re-sign him, he went back down to the practice squad, but he can get elevated one more time. But I think it's going to be one of the RB2s or RB3s of Buffalo there. And then I think the score is going to be 20-7 Buffalo. Yeah. And then that's them basically missing a field goal, missing 2 field goals and getting a 2-point conversion.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, they just miss the first 2 and then give up and go for this, the 2-point on that. So, nice. That's what I got here, and now what everybody's been waiting for, those free lineups. So please let us know what you think in the comment section below. We love to hear your guys' opinions on our lineups, or if you have any questions to ask us about your lineups or individual plays. Love to answer that. If you haven't, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, as obviously that helps us get put into front of more people, and hopefully get them to start joining this community and get to see more people that follow us up on the leaderboard. David, I'll let you send the send off here.
Yeah, good luck to everyone out there. I hope we all make a bunch of money this weekend. I'm super excited for playoff football. I'm glad it's finally here. This is pretty much the best time of the season because we got playoff football and basketball. We're hitting that 20 game, almost to the All-Star break mark where that's my favorite time of year. The playoff football transitioning into the basketball season, and yeah, just love to hear from you guys. Like, subscribe, and we've done really well this year. We've given away free lineups since we started the podcast, and a lot of them, we're way over 50% with the lineups. At least one or the other making, doubling the money, if not more. So, again, they're absolutely free. Tune in for each pod. We'll be doing a lot of extra ones here for the playoff games, so make sure to check those out. Fanduel single game specifically, that's what we're here for, and good luck to everybody.